So I'm starting again on the home page where we can see my list of teams. You won't necessarily have any teams on your homepage at the moment. You might not have been added to any teams. If that's the case, it's absolutely nothing to worry about. We can still use the features that we need to use without being members of specific teams. So in order to schedule an online meeting or an online lecture, we need to go to Calendar over on the left. And this will pull through your own Outlook calendar, which is linked to your own Office 365 account. So if you've already got meetings booked in Outlook, they'll pull through into this view. You'll see a little meeting there, which I've set up for the purpose of this recording. To create a new meeting, it's very, very simple. We just go to the new meeting button up at the top right here. And we get some options. So we can give the meeting a title. We can add attendees. We can change the date, the time. We can decide whether we want it to repeat or not. It's more than likely at this stage that you won't have access to channels. We'll ignore location as well because we're talking about online meetings, so the location would just be online. And then we've got some details in there at the bottom as well. It is necessary to add at least one attendee. It's not necessary to invite every single person who may need to attend, because once the link is generated, you can give that link to anybody and they'll be able to join the meeting. The slight difference is that if somebody has been invited, they'll be able to join the meeting and access it straight away. If you haven't invited somebody by name and you just provide them with the link, so when they come into the lobby, you'll get a little notification as the meeting organizer, which says approve or decline. And as long as you click to approve that person, they can then join the meeting. So if it's a relatively small number of attendees and you know who they all are, it will be slightly easier to invite them all. But don't worry if that's not possible, you can just provide a link. If you start to type the name of somebody who you would like to invite, all staff and students will be listed in here, very similar to using Outlook. So you start to type the person's name. If you find the person you want, you can just click them to add them. Okay, I'm not going to create this meeting because I've already set one up. So I'm just going to close that. We'll discard it. And I'll just click into the one that I've created earlier. So Maria will have received an invitation to the meeting with this link on it. And when she clicks the link, it will take her to the meeting in Microsoft Teams. And because she's been invited, she won't need to be approved. She'll just be able to access the meeting straight away. You can, however, if you want to, highlight that link and copy it. And you can provide that link to anybody, whether they've been invited to the meeting or not. So if you're running an online lecture, for example, maybe you've got 200 students, it's going to be quite onerous to add them all into this field. You could post that link that you've just copied onto an announcement in Vital. The students can then click the link, it'll take them to the lobby, and all you need to do as the meeting organizer, as they appear in the lobby, just click approve as they come in. To join the meeting yourself, just to remind you what I've just done, I've gone into calendar, I've found the meeting that I want to join, I've gone into it, and I can just click this join button up at the top right. I'm now in the lobby of the meeting. The reason I'm in the lobby at the moment and that I'm not live in the meeting is that it gives me the opportunity to just adjust my settings if I want to. So at the moment I've got the webcam feed off. If I can turn it on, you can also choose to blur your background. So if you're in an open plan office, that might be a situation where you'd use this blurred background. Okay, let's turn the webcam off again. I can also choose to mute my microphone or unmute it. And if I go into the settings tab here, I can choose which devices I'd like to use. If you've got multiple audio input devices, you can choose which one that you'd like to use. Once I'm happy with those settings, I can click join now. And that takes me into the meeting. So the meeting's now live, it's happening. I can see a little counter there, which is counting the duration of the meeting. On the toolbar, we've got webcam on and off. We can mute the microphone. We can share our screen, which is a really useful thing to do. I'll show you that in a second. We've got some more options there, which we'll also look at in a second. There's a text chat function, which is something that might be useful for students in lectures who maybe haven't got access to a microphone, or perhaps you want people to comment throughout the lecture, but you don't want them to interrupt you. You can ask them to type text comments into here. So that's a useful feature. You've also got the ability to see all the participants in the meeting. So at the moment, I'm the only participant in this one, but other people were in the meeting, you'd see them as a big list down here. And what's really useful about this function is that you can mute all of their microphones from here. So particularly if you're delivering a lecture online, it would be likely that you'd only want your own voice to be heard. You don't want people to keep interrupting you all the time. So you can mute people's microphones, and then if there's a time when you want people to participate, you can unmute them so that they can speak as well. Screen sharing is very useful, particularly for delivering an online lecture or a presentation. So when you click share, you get a list of all of the things that you've got open on your device at the moment. So you could share your Outlook inbox if you wanted to for any reason. But the most likely use for this is to deliver a PowerPoint presentation. So if you've got a PowerPoint presentation open in the background, you can select it and you can start presenting your presentation online in much the same way that you would do if you were presenting it live in a lecture theatre. Click stop presenting. We just go back to the normal view. Under the little three dots here, most of these options you probably won't bother with, but start recording is one that you may well use, particularly for online lectures. Once it's recording, that will become stop recording, and you just click it again to stop. So it's very, very easy to use. When you're ready to leave the meeting, this red button to hang up. And that in a nutshell is how to run an online meeting or an online lecture. You may have questions about this, in which case do feel free to contact me. I'll help you as best I can. I'd also really strongly recommend some practice. Maybe get one or two colleagues together, set up a meeting just for a test, have a practice, try using the various features, especially screen sharing with the PowerPoint presentations and so on, muting each other's microphones, using the chat. And then when it does come to the real thing, you'll be well prepared.